Hello and welcome to the Guitar Hacker. Today we're going to talk about Telecasters, Temu, and Tariffs, and how much you're going to pay for a Fender depending on where it's made. It's all today on the Guitar Hacker. So yeah, welcome to the Guitar Hacker. Today we are talking again about Temu's, Telecasters, and Tariffs. And first we're going to talk about the cost of Telecasters. A Telecaster like this from Temu, of questionable quality, Chinese origin, I was able to buy for $72 with shipping and a case, a bad gig bag and a bad strap and a cable even. The equivalent, as we see in the spreadsheet here, to buy a Squier Telecaster, which is going to be better quality, and they're getting better and better, is about $230 from Sweetwater. These prices are all from Sweetwater, and I imagine they're the minimal advertised price. To get a Mexican one, around $600 minimum. As you get better Mexicans, they get up toward $1,000, and then to get an American Strat, it's about $1,200. So it's 5 times more to get an American Telecaster or Strats, pretty much the same thing, same ratio, than it is to buy the Indonesian or Chinese Telecaster. Why is that? Well, they do use better materials on those American guitars, but those materials in a lot of cases, things like pickups or metal pieces, pots, usually made in the Far East. Tuners, only Grover tuners are made in the US, and I'm not even sure about them anymore. The last I heard about that was about 5 years ago. I knew the VP for Grover sales in the US. So the question is, could we ever build a Telecaster guitar and sell it for, $300, $400, $500 here in the US? And it doesn't appear that we can. We'll go into some of the reasons why that might be in the next part of the show. So now I'm going to talk about tariffs. I'm going to throw up that spreadsheet again. The Squier in Indonesia or China costs $230. And the Indonesian one right now is probably going to be the best bet as far as money goes, because the tariffs there are a bit lower than they are for China right now. We have a good deal with Indonesia, a better economic deal. I don't see how, even if we would tariff those 100%, that would just make the Squier $450, $460, and the American is still going to be $1,200. Unless we find a way to take down the cost of the American, which we could do if we manufactured more of them, but that would take a long time to do, to get to the point of, we need to somehow reduce the cost of producing American guitars. Those Squiers are made by people who are making $4, $7 an hour, whereas the American Fenders are made by people in California who need to make $20 an hour or more, and if they're craftsmen, they probably make a lot more than that. As I said, the joke was always, do you want it made by Mexican craftsmen in Mexico, or do you want it made by Mexican craftsmen in California? Because those Mexican craftsmen are working for a lot less money and still sending a lot of their money back to their family in Mexico. So we got to improve healthcare costs. We have to reduce the cost of doing business in the US if we're going to actually lower the price of guitars and everything else. So on the hack of the day, we have the $72 shipped Temu Tele, 72 plus tax. And it's not bad. The hardware's okay. The neck is a little bit weird where it's a little bit too light. but I'm going to probably take it off and put some polyurethane on it maybe. And I've checked the frets. None of them seem incredibly high by doing the little rocking test on them and things like that. And the reason I bought it actually is that I'm going to make a tele body out of a couple trees that I'm cutting down in my property. There's a walnut and a maple, so I'm gonna make 2 bodies out of those guys and just put the neck on and the parts. And then if I end up liking the guitars, I mean, they're going to be a nice curio, but if I end up liking them, then I'll upgrade the parts. For now, it would cost a heck of a lot for me to buy a Warmoth neck and really good parts from StewMac or whatever. So this will be a way to experiment on it and play around without a big investment. So anyway, that's the hack of the day. Temu guitar, $72, and I've seen it cheaper. It's tough to beat. So that's all I've got for Temu's, teles, and tariffs. I wanted to keep it brief. On a future edition, we will talk about a different tele, a Axel by Johnson by Axel. Anyway, a Facebook marketplace find. Somebody that did take a crappy Chinese guitar and turn it into a really nice playable instrument. That's coming up on the Guitar Hacker in the future. Thanks for watching. Hit like and subscribe. Take care.